You're listening to the Work at Home Leaders Podcast, episode 17. In today's show, we'll talk about working with your MLM team members. But first, all right, guys, welcome to the Work at Home Leaders Podcast, episode 17. I'm your host, Brad Crimes. As always, don't forget to visit me at my blog at workatHomeLeaders.com and my Facebook page. That's Work at Home Leaders, W-A-H, Leaders. I'm here to bring you helpful network marketing tips and information that will really work for any work at home or small business. Remember, if you want to grow your business, then you need the proper training and mindset. So this week I decided to do a blogcast episode from a post that I did on my blog. If you don't know what a blogcast is basically podcasting a blog post that was previously written. So you'll see so much emphasis placed on how to recruit people whenever you try to look up any training or anything related to training on MLM, but really not so much emphasis is placed on the sponsoring part of it. So with this podcast, I basically wanted to share some things to consider if you really want to be a leader for your team. So today's topic, it can be a lot of work trying to recruit people into your business. With so much competition these days and so many untrusting people, most people put a major emphasis on this aspect of their business. While this is very important, just as important is the fact that once they join your team, you really need them to be able to produce. So how do you work with your team members to get them to produce? After all, growing your business effectively depends on them being able to grow their businesses. So, starts off before you join. It should start before your team member even becomes your team member. Does this sound confusing? You should be particular about who you actually wish to recruit and sponsor. It's hard when you're first establishing your business to turn away new recruits, but your long-term success will be better off for it. For example, to recruit somebody who is going to try it for 30 days and then quit without even seriously trying is really going to be a waste of your efforts. Also, as I talked about in my article, Training Your Mind for Leadership, start developing that leader mindset before you even sponsor people on your team. This includes the right thinking and being able to educate yourself on some of the concepts that successful marketers are using to grow their business. Lastly, one of the reasons it's hard to grow a downline may be because you're not giving your team a duplicable system. There may be several reasons for this, and some of those may not be your fault, but the key to your downline being able to be as successful as you are is to give them, or at least direct them, to the same tools, concepts, and systems that you are using. The best way to implement this is to start figuring out and creating your system prior to enrolling anyone else in your team, or anyone for that matter on your team. Next, after they join. So now that you have the right mindset, the right people on your team, and a recipe for success, you can focus on developing leaders on your team. You can develop everything on your own if you want, but this doesn't have to be hand-holding. You can refer them to any training or educational material or anything that it is that they may need to absorb. Your part comes with the follow-up. The just checking in every so often routine can really help you establish good relationships and help your relationships grow by maintaining contact. Some people are more hands-off than others, but that doesn't mean that all means of communication should end or not be present. And you will come across that some people want the hand-holding, some people are in between, and some people really don't want you to interfere or anything like that in their business at all. So you'll get a mixture of all of them. More so, reach out every so often and find out how they're doing, what their challenges are, what their goals are, and if they're reaching them. This is not to act like you're the boss, but to encourage them to challenge themselves to keep growing their business. As a somewhat of a side note, creating a Facebook group for your team to encourage the exchange of ideas is, well, that's a good idea in itself. You don't have to be an expert in everything or have to spend all your time hand-holding if you really truly make it a team effort. It benefits everyone who is involved if you take a hands-on approach to helping your team grow. The process of growing your business doesn't stop right after you recruit people. The process of growing your business also includes sponsoring. So keep that in mind. Well, that wraps up this episode of the Working Home Leaders Podcast. Don't forget to visit workinghomelleaders.com for more network marketing and work at home business tips. I'm Brad Crimes, wishing you luck, joy, and focus in life and in business.